Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, today we are getting ready to plant our spring garden. You've seen over the past couple days we got it all tilled up, ready for planting. We put down our woven ground cover, and today is the day to start planting. It's not quite as warm as it has been the past few days, but I think once we get working it's still going to be a pretty nice day out here.
Tomorrow they're calling for a little bit of rain, so we're going to try to plant as much as we can so it'll get a nice gentle soak from the rain, and hopefully, you know, we'll make some really good progress on this. We've got a lot to do. Right.
We basically need to get this whole thing planted within the next few days. I don't know if we'll get it all done today. We're going to try our hardest.
This first row we're going to plant radishes. This 50-foot row we're going to split into 3 sections and plant each section 1 week apart. By the time all 3 sections are planted, the first section will be ready to harvest, so we can take out those radishes and plant again. And then every week after that, until it's too hot in the summer, we'll keep planting and harvesting radishes. We've left enough space in between the 2 rows of the black plastic so that we can get 2 rows of radishes in each section. In this garden we have seeds and plant starts to put in here, but we're starting with the seeds because we just want to get them all done, and then when we're done with the seeds we'll move on to the transplants. Most of the garden is going to be just planted direct sow with seeds in the ground, but 6 of the rows are going to be our brassicas, the cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, and collards.
1 down, 17 to go. Next up is our spinach. We're doing a full 50-foot row of spinach.
When we first started gardening, I didn't want any help planting, but very quickly that got overwhelming as we continued to expand our gardens. So it has been such a nice help and such a blessing now that Kevin and I work together planting the gardens. We can work side by side, and in these situations we'll work opposite ends of the garden and then meet in the middle. It takes half as much time. I really wish that I would have just given in and asked for help a long time ago. Well, we're getting there. We have planted 9 out of 11 rows of seeds. We also have 6 rows of brassicas to plant yet. So far we've planted, Kevin, you're gonna have to help me with this, radishes, spinach, turnips, beets, leaf lettuce, head lettuce, carrots, kale, peas, snap peas. What did I just plant down there? Oh, carrots. I don't know. Lots of stuff. We've got
We'll give you a full tour at the end.
Yeah, full tour at the end. Anyway, so we're making good progress. The seeds are what actually go the fastest. It'll take us longer to plant in those brassica starts. So anyway, back to work.
Well, we've got all of the seeds planted in the garden. Now it's time to start on our transplants. We've got each row we've got laid out with the plants that are going to go in that row. This is all of our cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and collards. We started these in the house about 8 weeks ago, and then they've been out in the greenhouse for about the last 3 weeks, and they are looking great, but it's time to get them in the ground. We also have some buckets of composted rabbit manure. You can use rabbit manure fresh, and a lot of times we do. This just happened to be in a pile over winter, so we're using that today.
So I'm working on a row of cabbage, and we plant that in the ground cover area that we've melted holes in here with our weed burner. And so I wanted to give you guys a chance to see how we actually plant through one of these holes. We've had some questions about that. And so really it's just as simple as, you know, digging a hole through that open spot, and make sure to dig down as far as you think your plant needs to go in there. And I actually dig a little bit deeper because I always put 1 handful of rabbit manure down in the bottom of the hole. And then you just tip your plant upside down and gently tap on it so that it falls into your hand. Look at those beautiful roots on there. Such a healthy plant. So then you just support the bottom of the plant with your other hand and gently tip it back right side up and put it gently down in that hole. And then just start backfilling with the dirt that you dug out of the hole. And then start pressing that dirt back around the plant, making sure that there aren't any air pockets down in there. And just before you get to the top, we're going to put another handful of the rabbit manure on top there, press down a little bit, put the rest of that dirt around there. And then I lift up on that fabric and just put the rest of that dirt underneath there just to keep things looking a little bit more tidy. And to put the dirt back down where it belongs. There you go. Simple as that.
Well, we didn't get quite done with the garden before it got dark last night, and today we've had rain on and off for part of the day, and to be real honest, we just spend the day inside working on our taxes, which is like the last thing I want to do when there's work to be done in the garden. But it's something everybody has to do, so we had to get that done today. So we're almost done planting this garden. We did get all of the seeds planted and 2 rows of the transplants. So we still have 4 rows of transplants to do. Tomorrow's supposed to be another beautiful day, so we're going to get that done then.
We also, before we went inside yesterday, put up our fencing. Because we had some of the plants in there, we knew for sure if we didn't have our fencing up that the rabbits would come and eat all of our hard work out of our garden before they even have a chance to grow.
Yeah, so we're going to show you guys the fencing. We're going to show you everything that we've got planted in the garden so far.
We often get questions about what varieties we plant, so I'm just going to go over that with you guys too. There's really not a whole lot to see yet. Nothing is sprouted. It's just been one day. So for right now, we can just talk about what should be coming up. So in this first row, we have radishes, and we planted crimson giant radishes. This is actually just burpee seed that I got at Walmart. Nothing super special and fancy. This next row is going to be spinach. And I'm growing a very popular spinach, probably the most popular. It's the Bloomsdale Longstanding. I got that at our ag store, MFA. Then is leaf lettuce. My very favorite variety of leaf lettuce to grow is a mix from Baker Creek called Rocky Top Mix. Just our favorite. Now half of the row of the leaf lettuce we're actually splitting with kale. I forgot to tell you that all of our rows are 50 feet long. So the first 25 feet will be the leaf lettuce, and then we're doing a kale. We've discovered that we really like the dinosaur kale, which from Baker Creek I think is called this Nero di Toscana. We love it, so we planted half this row of that. Next up, we are growing some head lettuce, actually a romaine lettuce, and we will be selling that at the farmer's market. And this is called, pardon me, I probably didn't say it right or won't say it right, Forellenschluss lettuce. It's a green and red romaine lettuce. Next up is beets. We're doing an entire row of beets this year. We're probably going to can most of them, and we're using Detroit Dark Red. After that is one of Kevin's favorites, kohlrabi. We're doing Baker Creek's Early White Vienna. Last up before the brassicas start, we're doing turnips, the purple top white globe turnips. On to the brassicas. We start off with one full row of cabbage, and we're doing Golden Acres cabbage. We're then doing 2 rows of broccoli, the Waltham broccoli, followed by 2 rows of cauliflower. Now we're doing 1 row of a hybrid called Snow Crown, and then we're doing 1 row of an heirloom called Pusa Magna from Baker Creek. The last row of brassicas are our collards, and we're growing Georgia Southern collards. So after these 6 rows of brassicas, we have more rows of seeds. We start off with 2 rows of peas. The first row is a snow pea called Sugar Ann, and the second row are standard English peas, and we are doing the Little Marvel. Now, the Little Marvel are what were recommended to us from our friends Danny and Wanda at Deep South Homestead, and actually this is the first year we've ever seriously tried to grow peas. So today during lunch we were binge watching their instructional videos about how to grow and harvest peas. If you guys haven't checked out their channel, Deep South Homestead, they have such a wealth of knowledge and share that knowledge on their YouTube channel. Lots of great playlists. Make sure you check them out. They're good friends of ours. Up next are carrots. Our favorite kind of carrots to grow are scarlet nantes. So we're going to do a full row of that. And followed by, and lastly, a row of onions. I've never grown bunching onions, so this year I'm going to experiment with that. So actually this row of onions will be half these Hishiko bunching onions, and the other half will be the rest of our onion sets that we got and that we planted up in the raised bed. I planted those to harvest and use early as green onions.
When we did our video yesterday about putting down the ground cover, we had a couple of you ask questions about how were we going to keep animals from digging up the seeds that we were about to put in or from eating the transplants that we were putting in. So I wanted to show you that today. We use electric netting around our garden. We have several rolls of this. We put this up in the summer. As soon as we start to plant, we put this up. And then it comes down in the winter. There's a few reasons that we really like this. First of all, because it's electrified, it really does a good job at keeping the rabbits and raccoons and other pests that we have around here out. We've actually never had deer jump over it and try to get into the garden. So it's just been a really good system for us. The main reason I really like it though is because in the winter I can take it down and store it. When there's nothing growing, there's no need to have a fence here, and that way it allows me to be able to get in here easily with the tractor, move around, do what we need to do, and then it just makes it a lot easier to work. We do think that this fencing does a good job. I'll be honest, we're not real fond of the electric netting for our animals. We used to use it for our goats, and it really didn't do a great job for goats. But for this application, for keeping things out of the garden, we wouldn't use anything else. It's absolutely the best thing that we have found to do that job. Now on this fence I actually have a plug-in fence charger. I just ran a cable underground over to our chicken coop, and this hooks up to the fence. So this one is a plug-in charger. Now some of our gardens aren't near a plug, and on those we use a solar charger. Let's take a walk over to the second garden that we're working on. I wanted to show you guys that and kind of tell you a little bit about why this year we're doing a second garden. It's not so that we can grow twice as much of each item. There's another reason. Let's go over there. So behind me is the garden that we're going to be using this year as our summer garden. I just tilled this up. This area has never been gardened before. Thank goodness for that new tiller that I got, because it made it a breeze. I'm going to spend the next couple months amending this with rabbit manure and some composted horse manure that we have. And I'll till it a couple more times, and we'll really get that soil ready, because this is going to be our summer garden. This won't be planted probably until the 1st of May.
Right. And there are two real reasons why we've switched to two separate gardens. Now, the garden we were just at this year will be our spring and fall garden, and back behind us will be our summer garden. The main reason for that is our seasons and the gardening seasons overlap quite a bit. So when we're wanting to do everything in one garden, those things that we plant for spring aren't quite ready to harvest before it's time for us to put our summer crops in. And if we didn't do spring, just planted right away for summer, the summer crops aren't fully ready to harvest and done by the time it's ready for us to plant the fall crops. So by separating them, we have complete control and availability of those gardens when those plants are ready to get planted.
The other reason that we're doing this is because it gives us better ability to rotate our crops. So we don't have to have our tomatoes in the same garden every year. Like Sarah said, this year the garden we were just at is our spring garden. This will be our summer garden, and then the spring garden will be our fall garden. Next year we'll rotate it. This will be the spring garden, the summer garden will be over there, and this will be our fall garden. So that way we can always rotate where the crops are, get them further away. That will help with some of those pest problems and hopefully break that cycle a little bit for some of the pests. At least that's the plan.
So you guys, I hope you enjoyed spending the day with us as we planted our spring garden. And I hope that you enjoyed learning from us kind of more about why we do what we do.
Yeah, we're always trying to come up with better ways to do things on the homestead. Homesteading is a lot of work. Farming is a lot of work. So if there's something that we can do to make it even just a little bit simpler, or to help control some of those things like pests, we will help in any way that we can. So you guys, if you're enjoying our channel, this is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. If you're one of our traditionalists who comes back every day, thank you so much. We sure do appreciate you. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And until next time, thanks so much for stopping by the homestead. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.